Tonight is about how to create balanced meals at home or away. So the first thing is, what is a meal? What's the importance of a meal? A meal is something like an anchor. It gives us balance and stability in our life. And as long as we have meals in our life, then we have a sense of balance and stability. At the same time, a meal is the basis of communication. Eating together builds communication among people. The reason I say this is actually based on physics. The nature of energy, or the nature of vibrations, is that they always like to synchronize or align. It's well known that in the same house, women's menstruation comes at the same time. The first time I went to Switzerland, like many foreigners, I thought I had to buy a cuckoo clock. So I went to different stores, and what do you see? But the pendulums are all swinging together, exactly aligned, synchronized. That's vibrations aligning. Like many foreigners, I decided to buy a cuckoo clock. Now I know why they're called cuckoo clocks. Right? After a while, they make you a little crazy, but it was a good experience while it lasted, till it fell off the wall, which I was very thankful for. But vibrations always try to align or synchronize. Now, what does that mean? That means after about 20 minutes in this room, everyone's breathing, heartbeat, and blood pressure. So everyone in this room, after about 20 minutes, your breathing, your heartbeat, and blood pressure start to align. If they can't align, you won't be able to stay in this room. You'll feel uncomfortable to the point where you won't be able to stay. Or if someone walks in this room that has a very different condition from anyone here, too different to align within a reasonable period of time, that person will make everyone here uncomfortable. And either they won't stay or we won't allow that person to stay. Now, if you go anywhere, let's say you go into a bar, and you stand next to someone, within 20 minutes, these factors will align. If not, one of you will have to leave. Now, if you nod to that person and acknowledge their existence, it happens in less time. If you smile, it happens in less time. If you talk, it happens even in less time. And the synchronization becomes stronger and deeper. Well, when we sit down together and we have a meal together, as we sit there and we talk, our energy aligns or synchronizes. What does that mean? What it means is that our ability to understand and empathize with each other is much stronger. Automatically, we start to understand each other with less words. At the same time, when we eat food, we break that food. We take solid food, and through chewing, through digestion, you take that solid food, you break it down to liquid. From liquid, we break it down to energy. The majority of food that you eat goes towards physical energy, emotional energy, mental and spiritual energy. Very little, maybe 12 to 15%, goes towards maintaining our body. Most goes to energy. That means we eat food together. We eat the same food together. Then our energy aligns. Then we talk together. We share. And then our energy aligns more deeply. And then we feel like we're a unit. We feel like we're together. Then together with that, because the nature of a meal is like an anchor, it gives balance and stability, everyone feels more balanced and stabilized. Practically speaking, what does that mean? I've read 2 studies recently. One, the most important factor to get your kids into college is the family meal. Eating together is a family meal. There's only one rule. Everyone needs to speak and be part of the conversation. It's the only rule. Families that do that, that have regular meals together and everyone speaks, those children have a much higher chance of getting into college. The most important factor to keep your kids away from alcohol or drugs, same, eating family meals together. This is the practical value. Now, those of you who are old enough to remember a time when we actually had meals. There used to be a term in our society in the past, lunch hour, right? Some of you might have heard that. Anybody here, lunch hour, right? There is no more lunch hour, right? Maybe a lunch 5 minutes, usually at your desk in front of the computer or on the phone or whatever, in between whatever you're doing. Meals used to be a part of life. And at that time, we had much more stability. Now, think about it. Everybody goes their own way. Everybody eats whenever they want, whatever they want. So everybody's eating different food. We don't come together. We don't sit down. We don't talk. Naturally, we can't understand each other anymore. We can't communicate. We can't bind. So it's easy for families to drift apart, for everyone to just go their own way. The family meal is literally the glue of society. And just reintroducing meals into our life gives an incredible benefit. Now, meals themselves have two aspects. One is the regularity. Regularity means eating at the same times each day without skipping meals. There's a reason throughout the world meal times are relatively the same wherever we go. Breakfast is after the sun rises, lunch is around when the sun is high in the sky, and dinner is around sunset. And these times are relatively consistent throughout the world. A little later in summer, a little earlier in winter. A little later in hot climates, a little earlier in cold climates. But with those variations, they're still consistent. The regularity of our meals regulates all of our body's cycles. Your physical energy, your blood sugar, your digestion and your bowel movement, your hormonal system, your energy, your moods. The more regular our meals, the more balanced and stabilized our health will be. Now, you might have noticed in our society, people have less stability physically, mentally, and emotionally as time goes on. In other words, most people now have to be medicated in order to have an even life, which is a very recent phenomenon because we don't have meals. A meal is when it fits in, if it fits in. That's the new meaning of a meal. Whereas in the past we had meal times, and when we had a meal time, everything stopped. The purpose was to receive nourishment. So the regularity, eating regular meals, even if it's one meal a day, starts to bring a sense of regularity into our life again. Simply that.